On 4 Now, a talent that's infuriating and for which nothing is impossible. The mind of David Berglas.
If a magician tore a piece of paper, he would either restore it or perhaps vanish it. But in the real world, if you take a piece of paper and tear it into half again, and half again, you would never finish with nothing. Eventually, you would get down to an atom, and even that could be split, and so on and so on. It always seems peculiar to me that if you ask someone to point to infinity, they always point that way and never this way. It's curious to think that you are the center of it all. In a universe which is, as far as we know, has no beginning and no end, you are a creature of that universe, the center of it all. Sir Bernard Lover wrote a best-selling book he called The Center of Immensities. And that's you. You are the center of immensities. Infinity is that way, but it's also this way. It's a universe of infinite variety and choice, a universe in which nothing is impossible. My house guest tonight is the son of a silversmith. He formed his own dance band as a young man, but found greater fame as an actor. On the New York stage, he appeared in Boeing Boeing. On television, he gave the definitive portrayal as Lord Peter Wimsey and Bertie Wooster. And he gave an unforgettable performance in films like I'm All Right, Jack and Lucky Jim. He is the real Ian Carmichael. How nice to see you.
Thank you.
I've just had a read through your book, which I found absolutely fantastic, because there are so many things that I didn't know about you.
Really?
As you know, with all the plays and films you've done, everybody feels they know you so well. But it's only when you read the book that you see so many things that you've done. I didn't know that you were such a famous director as well as a performer.
Oh, that was a long time ago, and I don't think famous was the word.
Well, very successful. A very, very striking record you have of well over 20 major films, I think, and about 30 major television series, and I could go on and on and on, but it really is impressive.
Thank you.
Did you really start playing in a band?
Oh, yes, but purely as an amateur. I wanted to be a band leader. It was a thing to be in the 30s, really. But I really found out that it was a very stupid thing to be because I didn't know much about music. I know more about music now than I did in those days.
Did you really mean the 30s or the 40s?
I really meant the 30s. I was, it was during my teenage part of my life was during the 30s, yes.
I think we're both giving our age away if we start talking about that time. It's funny because I had a very similar start. I was also interested in music and had a band, and I noticed in your particular book, it said the People's Palace, Mile End Road.
Indeed.
You started there. Would you believe that I had a band there as a young teenager
really?
Too? Yes. You were an extremely lucky man, though, because the more I read the book, the more I was impressed of all the famous ladies you've worked with, these leading ladies in all your plays and films and so on. Would you think you can remember most of them?
Oh, yes.
So you could sort of quote them just like that, could you? But
the names of people that I've worked with, largely, yes, largely.
Yes. I'm not going to embarrass you, because what I've actually done is we've found as many as I could, And I think you'll be pleased and surprised to see some of these, because these are the photographs of some of the leading ladies you worked with. And when we look through them, there's some many famous names. And because I have these, I thought you'd like to first of all have a look at them.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try and conduct a little experiment with them.
Uh-huh.
Have a look through. You remember most of them? All, I hope.
Yes, yes. They weren't all my leading ladies. I didn't have that number of leading ladies, but they were ladies that somewhere along the line have featured in my life, yes.
What I'll do is I'll do a little experiment with those. As you're handling them like that,
yes,
could I ask you to look at them and to think of one? Now,
yes.
It would help me if you could just start again from the beginning.
Yeah.
You look through them,
yeah,
and you think of one. And when you have one in your mind, please don't give me any indication whatsoever. In other words, don't react in any way.
Right.
I'm going to go to the other side now. You keep looking through them. Because over here I have a little box where we're going to place those in this box. Right, let me open the box.
All right.
Ian, do you think I could ask you to move along a little bit?
Yeah.
Because it would help me if you could just sit there for a moment. Now, what I'd like you to do is to go through them just one more time, all right? And think of one of them, but don't indicate to me the one you're thinking of. Now, I'm warning you, I'm watching you very closely. Now, I can't see the ones you're looking at because of the way I'm standing, you look at them. But what I'd like you to do now is to look through them again. In fact, take them one at a time. If you could just move forward a little bit and drop them into my little box. Now, I have to tell you, this is an electronically controlled box, right? Totally under my control. What I want you to do is to look at the picture and then put it in the box. Look at the next one, put it in the box. But when you get to the one that you're thinking of, try not to react in any different way to the way you've done. In other words, don't blink, suddenly breathe, or react in any way. Just drop them in the box one at a time. Just a moment, what are you doing?
Well, that fell down, so I picked it up.
Well, tell me which one you were thinking of.
You want me to tell you?
Yes.
By name?
Yes, please.
The name of the lady?
Please.
Moira Lister.
Moira Lister.
Yes.
If you'd like to look down now and have a look at the one in your hand that you couldn't get into the box because I shut the box, who is that?
Moira Lister.
Would you like to show it over there?
Very good.
Right.
That's remarkable.
I like the way, instinctively, the way you tried to open the box again.
How did you do that, David?
Well, we'll talk about that later, because nothing is impossible. Well, when you first look at this shape, it looks attractive, elegant, and quite normal, and quite possible, until you watch my finger tracing it out. That is the inside, and then suddenly it becomes the outside, and eventually we would get back to the inside. Of course, that can't be built and looks totally impossible. I always say nothing is impossible, so I've managed to make one. You can't really build this shape three-dimensionally. Some people feel like that about numbers. They look at numbers and they panic. For instance, if I were to ask you at this moment to very quickly multiply 27 by 11 or 41 by 11, are you panicking? Let me show you that it isn't as hard as it looks. 2711 is 297. 41 times 11 is 451. 52 11s is 572. And 39 11s is 429. Now you probably... Oh, but you could have done that, couldn't you? You couldn't? Well, let me show you how to do that. It's really extremely simple when you know the shortcuts. If you want to multiply anything by 11, just add these two figures together. Look, 2 and 7 is 9. You put the 9 in the center, and then on either side of the 9, you put the 2 and the 7. 2 and 7. That's 297. You see how easy it is when you know how. Do it again. 4 and 1 is 5. Put that in the center. The 4 and the 1 on either side. 5 and 2 is 7 in the center. Put the 5 there and the 2 there. The only trouble you might have when it gets over 10, very simple. 3 9's 12, put the 2 down, carry the 1, add it to the 3, making it 4, and the 9 on the other side, and that's it. You might call that higher mathematics. It's not really. Very simple when you know how. I wish they taught me things like that at school. It would have made arithmetic a lot more exciting. Tell me, Ian, were you good at mathematics at school?
Oh, absolutely dreadful. My worst subject.
Was it? I must let you into a little secret. It was mine as well. It's strange because I do many things with numbers to entertain people now, but I didn't start that way. But there are so many easy techniques, and once you know them, they're a lot of fun.
Teach me a few, would you?
Well, I won't teach you because it takes a little while, but I will show you something with numbers which I think you might find intriguing. Could I ask you to give me a 3-figure number? Any 3 numbers?
3 9 7.
3 9 7. All right. Another one?
2 6 8.
2 6 8. And another one?
9 4 7.
9 4 7. There we are. Now I'm going to make a little calculation. Perhaps you'd like to try and add these up in your mind as well.
Oh, you've got to be joking.
Well, I was joking, but I'm going to see what I can do.
Right.
Could you just talk amongst yourselves for about half an hour, just between you and you? Yes. No, seriously, I'll be as quick as I can. Let's have a see what we can do. Well, I've written something. Of course, if I had just written the total of these, in other words, if we total them up, you know, 7, 8, 7, etc., I don't think you'd be too impressed, because a lot of people can do that. They can just add 3 figures very quickly. Now, what we'll do is we'll rearrange these numbers, and then we'll get some new numbers. So could I ask you to help me? Would you like to tell me 3, 9, or 7?
9.
9. And from this row, 2, 6, or 8?
2.
2. And from the last row, 9, 4, or 7?
9.
9. Well, now, we've created a totally new number which has no relationship to those at all, 929.
Correct.
All right? And you could have given me them in some other order, but there we are, 929, a number we couldn't have known. Let's do it again. Would you like 3 or 7?
7.
7. And from this row, 6 or 8?
8.
8. And from the last row, 4 or 7?
7.
7. So once again, we have 7, 8, 7. You're giving me a very nice pattern. Look at that, 9, 2, 9.
Oh, God.
7, 8, 7.
That's pure accident.
It is accident. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
We still have some numbers left. A 3, a 6, and a 4. A 3, a 6, and a 4, right?
Yeah.
Now, those 3 lines, as you must admit, could have come in any order, because you could have put, for instance, the 7 there or the 8 there, and it would have been a different result. So if we add those together, let's see what happens. That's 9 and 7 is 16, and 4 is 20. We carry the 2. That's 2 and 2 is 4. 12, 20, is that right? That's wrong, isn't it? 16, 20, 4, 12, 18, right?
Yes.
Right, carry 1, 10, 17, and 3 is 20. That's 20, 2080. That's 2080.
Yeah.
Sounds like a new film, doesn't it? 2080. Isn't that amazing that I should have known that beforehand, because that's exactly what I wrote, 2080. Welcome back. I do all sorts of experiments. Perhaps I can show you one on my Laserdisc, which I've already set up, which involves a lot of numbers and a lot of people, once again from the audience. So
Please do.
I'm talking into this. Are you seriously interested?
Yes, of course I'm interested, yes.
I was going to show you anyway. I'd like 2 couples to help me. If you're together, 2 couples, 2 conditions. I hope you enjoy numbers, and 2, if you've got a reasonably neat handwriting. So may I have any couples that feel they have a reasonably neat handwriting? One there. Your wife hasn't put your... Is it your wife? Shouldn't have said that, should I? It is your wife. I feel so relieved. Okay, that's fine. One there. Any more? And one over there. Thank you very much. Would you like to come down carefully now? Don't fall down the steps, and give them a big round of applause when they come forward. Very much. You just stand over there for a moment, please. How do you do? Thank you very much. Okay, good. Would you like to come on this side, perhaps? The gentleman there, and we'll... Hello, how do you do? Would you like to stand over there, and you stand just over there? Good. That's very nice. You don't mind me separating you for a moment. Let's, do you know anything about numerology?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right. Well, I will ask you to give me your birthday and I'll explain all about numerology, all right? So would you like to just tell me, when is your birthday? What's the date of your birth?
18th of September, 1949.
I just want to turn this gentleman on. You can watch me. There's nothing wrong with watching me. Right. Just one at a time. I don't have such a good head for figures. Can you see? No. The
18th.
18th, right. Let's put that down there. 18th. Right. 18th of?
September.
September. That's 9, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, it is. That's right. 9. Okay. Now, let me guess. It's 1900?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But it'll be 1900 and something. And looking at you, I would guess it'll be about 50, 1950?
49.
49. Congratulations, you look wonderful. Absolutely. 49, 49. All right. Now, there's your birthday, 18th of September, 1949. Let me show you what numerology is. Numerologists take your birthday and they add them together. So if it's the 18th, they say 1 plus 8. All right? Plus your month is 9, plus the year, which is 1, plus 9, plus 4, plus 9, correct? Yep. Equals. Right, let's see. 9, 18, 19, 27, 31. Is that right?
14.
Can't be right, can it?
8.
9, 18, 19, 28, 32, 41. Why are you trying to confuse me? 41. Now, if you get a double number, you add those together again. So you see 4 plus 1 equals 5. Your lucky number, according to numerologist, would be 5. If you didn't know it before, you know it now. For the future, that's your lucky number, according to your birthday. Now, my job is to try and guess this gentleman's, not birthday, that is not possible. I can guess the year, near enough. It would be about 1922. No, 1921.
No.
No. How many years am I out?
1.
1?
Yes.
Not too bad. When was it?
20. 1920.
1920. All right. So I have a little information now. 1920, I would try and guess your lucky number. 1920. I was only 1 year out. Again, on the right side, wasn't I? Let me think now. 1920, looking at you, you could be round about being a Leo, although I don't believe in astrology, but it's round about that time. Don't tell me yet. I would guess, and I could be terribly wrong, that you are a 7. Now, you don't know that, do you? Now, let me try and work it out for you. My guess is that this gentleman is a 7. Let's ask your birthday then, your actual birthday.
7th of June.
The 7th?
The 6th.
Of the 6th. I was wrong. I thought you were July, right? 7th, 6th, 1920. 20, which we did find out beforehand. Okay, 7 and 6 are 13. And 1 is 14, and that's 23, 25. That's 2 and 5, right? 2 plus 5 equals 7, which is exactly what I said to you before we started. May I ask you to stand just here for a moment, please? May I ask the lady, please, to stand there? The gentleman, if you wouldn't mind standing on the next stand, and may I ask you to go to the other side there, to the last stand. And if you'll now turn those stands around, you'll turn them around, you'll see there's some squares in the back, and you have some pens inside a little holder there. Take them out and turn the squares so we can see them, and then I'll ask you to point to a square. As I point to you, just point to one of those squares and I'll tell you what number to put in. We'll start with A. You can see the boards are numbered A, B, C, D. May I ask you to point to a square, please? That one. Would you put in there 49? Would you point to a square, the gentleman there, please? Would you do it nice and big? Actually, can you enlarge on that? Make it a bit bigger. A big 4 and nice and bold 9. That's lovely. Good, thank you. And you pointing to that square there. Would you like to put in there 20? May I ask you to point to a square? And there, I'd like you to put 48. would you point to the square? The top square there, you put a 10 in there. We'll go back to this gentleman, I think. Nice and big, that's fine. Would you point another square on yours, please, on D? That one, I think you ought to put 46 in there. Put 46. Let me think now. Yes, possibly right. Would you point to a square? That one, I'd like to put 17. Would you point a square, please? There, I'd like you to put 19. And you point another square. That one, could you put 11? And we'll do one more round with you. Another square from you, please. That one, put 18. Point to one, please. Put 9. Put 12. And that one, put 19. Okay, thank you very much. Now, if you put the pens back, I'd like you gentlemen to take off these boards because they're just attached very lightly, and you can take them off like that, right? You can take the other one too. May I ask the two ladies just to walk to the other side for a moment? I'll be with you in just 1 second. The two ladies to the other side. The two gentlemen, would you just take those off and bring them to me, because we're now going to reconstruct these squares on here. Okay, so let's have this one. Let me put this one. Where can we put this? May I have that one as well? I think we'll put this one up here. Would you like to adjust it for me, if you can, just up there? And this one, if you'll put this one just opposite there like that. Would you bring the others very quickly, please, the other two boards? Thanks a lot. As you can see, we're now constructing a very large square. That one, I think, we'll have in that corner, and of course you have no choice but to put yours in the other corner there. All right? Good? Very good. All right, fine. Now, we still have some blank squares there. I'm going to just walk over to the ladies now and see if they can help me on something else. Good. Ladies, stand clear for 1 second, because right behind this board, I have a lot of other numbers. Now, may I ask you to come forward, please? And just with your hand, circle an area, just very quickly. There. All right, let me just put a ring around where you're circling. You're starting here.
Yes.
And where did you go to?
Up there.
Up there, and then? There.
Yes.
And?
As far as that.
There.
Yes.
And there. Is that about it?
That's it.
Okay, now remember, you could have chosen any section. You've chosen that particular section. I'm going to ask you now to come forward, and in that section, for instance, not the 89 because I've crossed through it, but you've got quite a few numbers that have not been crossed through. I'd like you to sort of wave your hand around a few times like that, right? And then stop at any time you like. Wave your hand around now. Could you open your hand like that and just do that? Look, nice and gently. And then stop in any area you like. There. You're actually pointing to number. I meant you to point to some numbers, but you want that particular number?
Yes.
All right. That is 95. May I just circle that? Okay. I appreciate your help very much. I'll tell you about this in a moment. In the meantime, could we have a very large round of applause for the 4 people who have been advanced to dance? Thank you very much. Okay. Now, if you ladies and gentlemen would like to talk amongst yourselves for the next 2 hours, I have to make certain calculations, and you must give me just a little time to think. If I ignore you, it's because I'm concentrating on something else. All right, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw, I've now completed this particular complete big square, and I'd like to show you that we've made certain calculations. As you saw, the lady had chosen the number 95. We have about 180, 190 numbers in there approximately. I think they start from about 50 upwards. So she could have chosen any one of those many numbers. And I've tried to calculate one of these columns to add to that same number. May I ask the lady there just to tell me, would you like the first row, the second row, the third, or the fourth? Which row down would you like? The third? 1, 2, 3, that one. Let's just see what happens. We have 10 and 20 is 30. 47, 87, plus 8 is 95, isn't it? That deserves a round of applause. At this moment, you're wondering what would have happened if she'd pointed to another column. I don't think it matters too much, because if you say 49, 67, right? 67, that's 86, and 9 is 95. So you see, every column now totals a number that she wanted in the first place. That's 95, 95, 95, and 95. But save your applause, because we can also add them this way. 47 plus 17 and 10, that's 27, that's 46. 46, 86, and 9 is exactly 95. That's 95, that's 95, and that's 95. Work it out yourself, it really works. We already know that the 4 squares that we started with were going to look like 95. That's the 4 squares. I can assure you all the 4 squares add up to 95 that were on there originally. But we also have some other squares. We've got one in the middle here. You see, that's one, that's another. That's also 95. So is that one, and that one, and even the center square, as you can see, that's 11, 31, 41, 48, 88, 95. Once again, it's 95. All right. If you'd like some variety, how about this? Look at this. We've got 19 and 18 is what? 37. Never mind. I used to be like that too. 37, 77, 83, 93, 95. All right. If you prefer it this way, we can go that way. That's 95. As a matter of fact, all these add up to 95. Whichever way you go, you can take those, or those. We'll always get to 95. If you're not happy with that, let me show you. We've even got the 4 corners, 49, that's 68, correct? 68, 78, 86, 95, the 4 corners. You can see those 4 corners. Your applause is getting weak and weaker, so save it till the end. The 4 corners, as you saw, added to 95, but there is another square within the square, a number of squares. We have a 9 square. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 19 plus 12 plus 47 plus 17 is also 95, or this way, 49 plus 10 plus 17 plus 19. If you don't believe me, let me block it off for you. That's called a 9 square. That adds up to 95. If you turn it this way, that adds up to 95, and this way, and of course, the original way I showed you just now, you can check it yourself. There we go. 49, 59, 69, 76, 95, right? Yes? Okay, good. Are you getting tired? Well, if you are, you can imagine how I feel. Let's do something a little more unusual in the diagonals. We've got some diagonals there. Those will also add up to 95, and you can turn this around one more time, so we've got another 95. That's 46, 56, we've got 75, 95, correct? Yes. All right. And just to finish up, the complete diagonals, that way adds up to 95, and this way adds up to 95. Check it yourself. That's it. Thank you. Let me shuffle these around a little bit, because it's quite unusual to get a combination like this, but you would think once you start shuffling these around, things are going to change. So what we'll do is we'll put this one up there, all right? Let me do it this way. We'll put this one, let's put it here, and we'll put this one, we'll put this one here, and we'll take this one now, and we'll put this one over here, and that one we'll put there. And once again, you'll find that although we've shuffled the square around, And if you want to check it at home, stop your video machines and count up, because you'll find every column, every angle, every possible way, over 32 different ways that I've shown you just now, will also add up to these rearranged figures. But there is one more exciting way that we can add up to 95. Where's a gentleman who very kindly told me his birthday at the beginning of the show? Where are you? Over there. It's hard to see you because of the lights, but I can see you. Put your hand up so we can see you. Right, he's sitting over there. I was just going to ask you to remind me when your birthday was, but you don't really need to do that, because if you remember, I wrote down his birthday at the beginning. So there we have 18. Plus 9 is 28. Plus 19 is 47. Plus 49 makes 95. Even his birthday adds up to 95. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to be quite serious for a moment, that is called a magic square. It's been known for generations, since early days, that there is such a thing as a magic square. The combination of numbers are fascinating. But what has never been seen before, and I can assure you, you are the first people to see it, and you certainly at home are the first to ever witness that I have incorporated somebody's birthday within a magic square. So if you now check, you will find the gentleman's birthday is the 18th of September 1949, right in the center, and once again, that adds up to 95. What can you say? Thank you.
Quite remarkable.
It's quite remarkable what you can do with numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's numbers are incredible, really. I noticed a little early on you were looking at the light sculpture. That's what they call it. It is a sculpture in light.
Yeah.
You can actually touch it. Just play with it. It's all right. You won't get a shock. Yes, absolutely. In fact, it looks better with the lights on. Let me just put the lights on.
How utterly fascinating.
It looks so much better in the dark.
Tell me about it, David.
Well, as you touch it, what you're actually doing is you're earthing it back. Your body is now earthing it back. Inside the globe are a number of rare gases, and this is manufactured just by one man. And then people have tried to copy him, and so far he hasn't. He's an American. He's become a sort of cult figure. And mostly they're for museums and art galleries and for private collectors, but they're very hard to get because there are very few in the world. Each one has a different character, different color scheme, and so on. They have lovely names like Ice Tree, Fireflower, Ancient Frequencies. This one, believe it or not, is called Sleepless Nights. and can give you that. But the interesting, if you just put your hand flat on it and don't move it for a moment, you can see what happens. It sort of streaks across, look, like that. Yeah. I'll put it to one side, it might be better. That's fine. You see that? It's like spaghetti. Yeah. And it's very hard to explain that. The microprocessor in the base actually shoot up electrons through that center stem, which has many thousands of degrees Fahrenheit in the top. It ionizes the gas. It becomes a plasma. Normally we associate plasma with blood. It's a living plasma inside there, and it's miniature lightning. And because the inside of the globe is being coated, it sort of bounces back off you. If I touch it as well, of course, it would have the same effect. And I can show you something quite remarkable with it as well. Inside the sweet dish on the table, I think you'll find is a little fluorescent tube, and I can see it sticking out. Would you like to just take that out? Now, it's a normal fluorescent tube.
In the middle of all this?
Right there, I can see it.
Ah,
just
yes.
put that. Yes. I put it there for light refreshment. Right. Could I ask you to hold that in your hand, just by the glass for a moment? Yeah. All right? Literally just the glass.
Just the glass, right.
And then touch the globe with your other hand. Okay, just put your hand on like that. And if you watch the neon tube now, we can dim the lights a little bit more. You'll see it actually will light up.
Yeah! I'm a conductor. Goodness gracious me.
Well, you always wanted to be a band leader.
Yes, I did.
But the interesting thing is that it's only lit between our hands there, and yet by stroking it further up, it lights up there as well.
Gracious me.
Now, this is only a 12-inch tube, but I can actually show it to you with something a little more ambitious. This is a 4-foot tube. Just hold that by the glass, and you see what you've done. You've lit it up. Once again, hold it tight. Yes. I'll move my hand towards you, and you can see that it's only lit between our hands. Yes. And yet, as I move it away like that, it lights the rest of it up. Of course, we could do it the other way around. I could hold the globe, and you can let go now. Let go there. If I hold the globe, you see it lights up dimly, but if you were to touch it the other end, it earthed it back like that. And you can see we get a really bright glow from that.
How remarkable. So that electricity is passing through one's body, is it?
Well, it's not, actually. All you're doing, you're exciting the gas inside the neon tube, and that's why it's lighting up. Tell you something, Ian. I like to give my guests a souvenir. And what I've done is I've had a little sculpture made, a miniature one, right? And I'd like you to take that as a souvenir, as a paperweight.
Thank you.
If you just come with me, I'll give it to you. Let me put the lights on. I'll have it right over here. Now, this is for you because I've had it inscribed for you. It's actually inscribed to Ian Carmichael. And if you come over here, I'll show it to you. On the side here, it says The Mind of David Berglas. That's the name of the show, of course. We have the Tyne Teeth Television logo and the Channel 4 logo, and I hope you find that a nice souvenir. But before I give it to you, I'm going to tease you a little bit, because as you can see, right here, I have your book.
Yes.
Which I used early on. I'm going to ask you to do one last experiment with me. You take the book in your hand, you flick through it like that, and you think of a page number. All right? Now, it doesn't matter if I look as well. It's not that kind of an effect. Take the book, flick through it like that, look at the page numbers, and think of one of those. Would you do that? You look a little worried. It's very simple. Literally just flick through the book and think of a page number.
Oh, golly.
Can I just ask you something? When you thought of it, right? Did you, when you said, oh golly, was that the one? Because
no.
I could have gotten an indication. No. But you have one in your mind?
Yes.
Firmly fixed in your mind?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm going to tell you that I think I know the page number you thought of. Would I be right in saying it was 151?
No.
Surely. Or will you change your mind then?
Well, I don't think I changed my mind, no. That wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Well, that's the one I was thinking of.
Well, it's bad luck. Yes.
Bad luck is right, but never mind. A lot of my things worked early on. I showed you some things that you were quite impressed with, and I can't win them all. I still think it was 151. Would you like to tell me which one you thought it was?
Well, I thought it was 197.
197?
Yes.
Is that the one you thought of? Anyway, thanks for coming to the show. I tell you what, just before you leave, would you mind reading out the inscription, which we had done a few weeks ago? Just read it out. It's inscribed right there, and read out aloud what you see there.
To Ian Carmichael, you thought of page... Oh, God blimey. You thought of page 197. But in the mind of David Berglas, it is still page 151. Would you believe it?
Well, I thought it was 197 too. Would you like to see next week's show? Come with me and I'll show you. You keep that. Come with me. Yeah. Would you like to go through?
Thank you very much.